Alright, so now I've got my first two quests set up. The specific one about talking to the survivors and learning about the situation at hand. What I want to do is complete that one once you've talked to James. So remember I set up that fancy James dialogue, and after you've kind of asked him a couple things, you ask him about his plan. So this kind of gives me some context, and then I ask him about his plan, and this is where I want to update the quest status so that we can kind of complete the one about talking about learning the situation at hand, and then add a new one which will be framed around accessing the garage. So we'll go to the dialogue, and I guess I can make this new quest. It's going to be called, I don't know, I can't come up with something clever this quick. So we'll just call it get in the garage. Open the garage. Remy has locked himself in the garage. James needs the truck keys in the garage so we can leave. Alright, so that's my new quest. This is descriptive but bland, so maybe I'll try to come up with a new name for that one day, but it works for just planning things out for now. You can have placeholder, quest titles or placeholder dialogue, etc. But it's a good idea to at least build out the structure and flow so you can play test stuff, and then once it's all in place, you can go in and iterate on the specifics. So I'm going to find my dialogue conversations and find my James intro conversation here. And so the plan one is here, and when the player has gotten through all this, I want to update the quests. So let's see if there's an easy way to deal with this. I'm going to go into the script situation here. So sequence is going to be for like cutscenes and like camera angles and things like that. Conditions is going to govern what must be true or false before this shows up, which we used here earlier in one of the previous videos. And then the last one, script, is just stuff you want it to be, like other things you want to happen once this node gets executed. And so that is the one I'm going to use here. I'm going to hit the plus button to use the Lua wizard. And quest is actually what I want to deal with. I want to set situation at hand to success, basically. It's done. And I'll just hit apply. All right. But then I also want to add a new quest. So I'm going to go to the Lua wizard. I want to make sure append is set so that it does both of the things. I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to set the quest open the garage to active. So the quest starts unassigned, but once I've gotten here, it's going to become active. Make sure I hit apply there too. So I've got these two lines of Lua code now that are going to manage my quests. And I guess this little green arrow is helping me understand that I have like some script action here. This red question mark is helping me understand I have the conditions on that one. All right, let's test it out. So I hit play. I'm going to look at my quest log. I have Dead Reckoning and situation at hand. Another thing to think about here is the player is not necessarily going to know there is a quest log. So I probably need like some kind of starting screen that explains the controls or something like that. Or maybe I could put it on my itch.io page. Something for me to remember down the road so people actually understand what button to press. There's like a shitload of buttons on a keyboard, they may not think to press the one you wanted. So I talk to James. I get through this conversation. He tells me about Remy, and I ask him if he's got a plan. Yeah, he's gonna open this door and then get the car keys. So let's look at the log now. It didn't. Oh no, it did. I see open the garage. Remy has locked himself in the garage. James needs the truck keys in order. The truck keys in the garage so we can leave. And this one has been completed now. So that's working, but what I would like to have happen is like when that, like I didn't know, like if you're just playing and you don't know how it's set up, you may not understand that anything changed when you finish that conversation, right? So I want to display something on screen to indicate, hey, like there's new quest information here when you finish that conversation, to help guide the player to actually opening the quest log and seeing what's new. So I'm gonna stop the game and get started on setting that up. All right, so I think there's two ways we could accomplish our goal of making it more clear something's changed with our quests. One, we could go into the dialogue and we can go into our conversation and we can find this node and we can add to our script here. So if you click the three dots and then hit plus, and again make sure append is on there, I'm going to change this to alert. And if I choose alert, I can put in a message like quest log updated or something like that, or quests updated, or who knows, whatever sounds good to you. And then I'll hit apply. And you can see that added this little line of code at the end. So what I'm going to do now is play my game and run over here, talk to James. Get through all of this. This would be easier to debug if I didn't have such a complicated conversation. I guess I should show how to oh, there you see quest log updated. Yeah. If I didn't, I should show how to debug stuff too, so you don't have to click through everything so much. But that'll be a different video. I want to point out actually there's an alert settings on the dialog manager. Alert settings, and I actually had checked this. I'm not sure, so you can set the alert seconds here, how long it lasts. If you wanted, I guess, to have like a typewriter effect, maybe you could use this. Anyway, I'm gonna just double check something happens still if I have that unchecked, and see what happens. And if it doesn't, and you want to use this approach, you just, I guess you want to make sure you show alerts during conversations. So, sorry, I'm clicking through it all again. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, so that didn't work. I wonder if it... Yeah, so... if you want it to work with the show alert here, I suppose that means you're going to need to go to your dialog manager and make sure you have allow alerts during conversations, because I guess we're still technically in the conversation there. So I could do that. It's something we could do. Or, you know, my issue with this is I have to remember to do it all the time. I don't know if this next way I show you is better or worse. You can decide, but it's gonna look a little different. So I'm going to go back to dialog, and this time I'm going to go to quests, and I'm going to click on the situation at hand quest. This is the one that gets completed, and I'm going to make it trackable, and I'm going to leave track on start selected, and I'm just going to run the game and you can see what that does. So right off the bat, I see I have this little note in the corner. It says situation at hand. And if you wanted, if you go back to the quest log thing here, and I go to situation at hand, I could add entries and then add a new quest entry, and I can set it, this is what it says when this thing is active. I think that's how it works, at least. We'll find out. I want to make this thing say talk to survivors. It's kind of like a immediate action item, to-do list type thing, what you're supposed to do in order to complete this. So this one could have a little bit more flavor text to it. This one is the brass tacks. This is what you do as a player. So if we hit play, we can kind of see how this looks. So now up there it says talk to survivors. That's kind of cool. Let's see what it looks like in our quest log. And it says situation at hand. If I click on it, see, if you uncheck it, actually it goes away over there. So this is how you track the quests, I guess. And it says talk to the other survivors and learn about the situation at hand, and it says talk to survivors. So maybe that feels a little repetitive. I could do something like, say, like, again, add a little more flavor here, like, what a crazy day. Maybe I should see, I still need to find my brother, and maybe the other people here have info about what's going on or something like that. And then this would say talk to survivors. And I guess another way I think that we could make that look a little better is, what a crazy day. I'll pause the video and type that in. All right, I went ahead and updated this text. And then the other thing I want to do is on my entry here, I'm going to add like a little minus sign and then a space to kind of make it look more like a checklist or a bulleted list. And I'm going to hit play and see how that looks. See, I kind of like the way that looks. And then let's see how the journal looks. Situation at hand. What a crazy day. I wonder if these folks know what's going on. I hope James is okay. And it tells me what to do. Talk to survivors. And if we were to rework the UI for this, we could format this text with so that all the entries look a certain way, that all the headings look a certain way, and all the main description text looks a certain way, etc. So this, I kind of dig this. I think this is what I'm going to go with. But then I'm going to also go in here and I'm going to go to open the garage. And so let's go ahead and follow the same pattern here. I want to make it trackable. I want to make it track as soon as this quest becomes active so that you don't have to click it in the quest log. And I'm going to say it does have subtasks just so that I can get that like abbreviated, like this is the action item feature. So I'll go ahead and add a new quest entry, and I'm gonna say something like, I'm gonna set it to active. I think this is necessary. I think this means that as soon as this quest turns on, this is going to be active, which means I don't have to activate this quest entry too. I just have to activate this quest. I could be wrong about that. So if I had multiple quest entries, I could activate multiple ones at the same time, which I think would make the checklist longer, or I could set some of them unassigned and update them as we go. This is gonna say find a way into the garage. All right, and I'm going to use my same little formatting trick with a little dash and a space. And let's see what this looks like when I complete this quest. You know what? I'll go into the little debugging thing here. I'm going to go to the Dialog Manager, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it down here so that I can see my game window and the Dialog Manager at the same time. and I'm going to go to watches. And if you notice, watches goes away when you aren't running the game, and when you start the game it says watches. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to, actually yours may not look like this, yours probably looks like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click watches, I'm going to click menu, and I'm going to choose add all quests. And you have to do this each time you add a new quest. So if I add new quests, they're not going to appear here by default. You have to add them. And once I've got my quest added to this interface, I can go to see what will happen if I say complete the situation at hand. So we will set it to success, and it just went away. And if I open my quest log, I can see in my completed quests, I have that one there. In my active quests, I just have my overall one here. I don't have open the garage. All right, let's change open the garage to active. And you can see as soon as that quest becomes active, it puts this in the corner. And if I look at my quest log, I've got to click back in the game window. I see open the garage, and it tells me the description and a action item here. And so that's a quick way to save you from having to go talk to James the whole time. Now what I would need to do next is once this quest is on, I need to make it so that all, like, James doesn't say the same thing over and over, because I don't want to keep completing this quest multiple times. He shouldn't be surprised to talk to his sister every single time you talk to her, and so on and so forth. And so by changing what the characters say with conditions based on the status of quests, I can make the world feel dynamic and alive and responding to the player, which is a good thing. All right, I'm going to stop this, and maybe that's something I'll try in the next video.